What is up, guys? Bonafide Hustler here.
Raking profit in the house.
Golden Finger Picker is here.
All right, so what is going on, peeps? I'm the Bonafide. Sorry, there's so many bad things going on right now with my internet. But anyway, I'm the Bonafide Hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas. I flip stuff I find from yard sales, garage sales, flea markets, swap meets, pawn shops, consignment stores, and I put it at places like flea markets, consignment stores, eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, and my antique booth. I am so jumbled right now. But here we go. I'm one of the admins of the Green Room. It's going to be an amazing show tonight, and there's Rakin' Profit down below. What's up, Rakin'?
Hey, nothing much, man. Shaved my head. Looking clean. Anyways, my name's Steve. Rakin' Profit on YouTube. Selling on Amazon FBA primarily. From Connecticut, but I've been traveling the country for about 77 days right now, and I'm only 2 hours away from the Bonafide right now in Junction, Texas. So looking forward to getting up with him. But yeah, having a great day. Glad to have you guys here, and glad to have the Golden Finger Picker here. So I'm gonna pass it off to him.
Hey, I'm Chad, the Golden Finger Picker. Got a YouTube channel, Golden Finger Picker, and our Facebook group is the Reseller Society. And we buy, my wife Kim and I, we buy anything that will make us $1. We love the thrill of the hunt. That's pretty much what we're about.
Okay. And this is the Green Room Hangout number 28. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about basically man cave items. So we call it Man Cave Mania, which is crazy because if you think about a man cave, and Chad and I and Reagan were talking behind the scenes, I mean, it kind of is endless. So if you're not hustling man cave type stuff, you're really missing out on a lot of fun and a lot of cool hunting and a really big thrill when you get the profits back in your hand, if you can spot the kind of stuff. So hopefully if you pay attention to this show, you'll get to learn a little bit more about man cave, like how extensive man cave type stuff goes, and you know, what you can do and the avenues you can put it on when you finally find one of those items. So our guest today is GFP. I just call him GFP. It's kind of like that MMA guy. There's a guy named GSP, right? George St. Pierre. Anyway, so like I just call you GFP, but you're Golden Finger Picker. How can people find you, first of all, Chad? I'm pretty sure most of the people here know you, but like, how can people find you? Don't you have a group, Facebook, right?
Yeah, we've got the Reseller Society. You can always add me on Facebook. My name is Chad Pagel. I'm a big supporter of networking with people, getting to know people. And our YouTube channel, can always get a hold of us through there. That's Golden Finger Picker.
Okay, and then you also run like a bazillion live shows, right? Don't you run a whole bunch of live stuff?
You know, I personally have the Friday night, the Reseller Pulse show on my channel, and I'm also involved in the Pickers Church, which now Ronnie Hart's Pickers, has that on his channel. So, and you know, throughout the week we may go live, I may go live, do something, but yeah, I like the live thing. I like the interaction with the viewers.
Okay, well there you go. So that is Golden Finger Picker, and your wife is also known as Florida Picking Queen, correct?
Yeah. Yep, Kimberly.
And she's always on your channel, like I mean, in ride-alongs, whatever. Like she's right there with you, right?
Yeah, right now she's working on her master's degree, so she is in college finishing her schooling, but every second that she gets free, yeah, we're out there doing this.
Okay, cool. And so people kind of better understand your game. You strike me as the kind of person who really likes the hunt and the thrill when it comes to things like maybe FBA. I think you've discussed this a couple times, maybe with me behind the scenes, but like you're in for the hunt, right? The thrill and the unique stuff, correct?
Yeah, we really, really love the idea of the treasure hunt, the hunt. I just, you know, I've tried, you know, the retail arbitrage, the scanning and stuff, and it's just not for me. Not that it's bad, it's just not for me. I'm what you call an old school picker. It's, you know, digging through stuff, finding something, and then with that over years you develop kind of a database, and it's just that experience that you just can't, you know, get without doing it. And it's always just when you find that home run, I mean that like mega home run, you're chasing that constantly after that.
Yeah, it's definitely addicting. So I've been hustling man cave stuff for quite a while now. It's probably the past 11 years, honestly, since '05, and it's a lot of fun. And it's one of those things that if you're thinking like, oh, that means I have to like ship it and I have to like do all this stuff, it's not necessarily true. A lot of man cave stuff you can flip locally. there are plenty of people that love to buy it on a local level. Anyway, before we get into the show, we got to make sure our sound sounds good, right? And Raykin, you got that feed with you right there? Are you looking at it?
Yeah, I'm looking at the feed right now.
Who do we got that's joining us today? We got some people in there that we know?
Yeah, we got a lot of people in the house. We got Ronnie with Hearts Pickers in the house. We got Chad's boy from the Reseller Society. We got ComfortZoneStudio.com, who has actually been in the chat about 20 minutes before the show starts. So we appreciate, having some people in there. We got Andrew, Holland Hobbies, Parker Profits, Malu Jimmy. You know Malu Jimmy, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, he should be coming out on a video on my channel tomorrow or the next day. But I hustled with him last week, and he's a green room member. Just a phenomenal hustler.
Awesome. We got Thrifty. Let's see. The names are going by so fast. Thrifty Treasures. We got Katie in the house. Cody Orgel. We got Australia in the house right now. You know what's crazy? We've got people, and I'm sure, Chad, you can relate to this. People come and they watch these shows from all over the world. Cody Orgel, he's from Australia. So let us know in the comments now where you guys are from. If we got any international people in the house, show some love in the comment section. But we got a lot of people in the house right now. So many to shout out. But we'll be sure to go back periodically, shout you out, and give some more love. But I'm going to pass it back off to Chris.
Okay. Hey, GFP. I see all this stuff behind you, and this is quite a little micro collection that you have going on. I'm pretty sure that's not everything that you have, but for what the screen can see, you got a lot of cool things behind you. And can you kind of say, is this a little bit of your man cave? Like when you get into this room that you're in right now, do you feel good? Do you feel like, oh, I can do a lot of things from this room. This is my identity. Like, what do you feel like when you step into that room that you're in?
I do feel really good, and that's really important when it comes to your work environment. Do you feel good where you're at? But yeah, I'm a huge Selena fan, so a lot of my stuff is Selena oriented as far as my collection. I like older stuff. I like older electronics. We have a lot of older video games and just older stuff like Bee Gees stuff. If you know me, you know I love the Bee Gees. Old models, just the old Voltron. I mean, it's just stuff from my time, when I was a kid. And not that it's super manny, but I think that's really important when people say man cave. It's not necessarily a manly thing. It's just that what makes that person, it's building something around them that makes them feel good. And that's what man caves are. I mean, what we think about man caves, it's a surrounding that makes you feel good. But yeah, I just love a lot of the older stuff, old rock and roll Kiss figures, just old stuff. Anything, if I like it, I'll pick it up.
Yeah, I'm thinking the man cave is also, I don't know if it came down from history as one of those places like maybe the woman in the house didn't like the house all messy with all these random things, right? And so they were always like, put it in the garage or maybe put it in the basement. And so maybe over the course of decades, men and their, toys. I mean, it's really a lot of toys if you think about it. Like men, RC car, whatever you have, auto, Breweriana, antiques. Like, women a lot of times want the house to feel home, like home, right? And a lot of these things just don't fit in the general decoration of a house. So I think man caves are now like, they're places with pool tables and like you can drink beer with your buddies and what I'm talking about. It's like one of those things with neon signs and you can have Selena things or Voltron, this and that. But it's a place where maybe all your stuff migrates in one part of the house, right, so that it doesn't clutter up the other part of the house, I guess, right? If I have to look at my man cave, this is eventually to become a man cave sort of office, but my man cave is basically my garage, and Raykin's been there. There's like bikes galore, there's gym equipment, there's all kinds of cool stuff in there, but it's basically, I can't put bikes in my house, I can't put all the gym stuff in my house, I can't, it just doesn't make any sense, so maybe that's where it goes, and that's why I call it man cave, So, anyway.
Yeah, I think man cave actually started with the idea of a woman saying, you and your crap goes there, whether it be the garage, the basement, and I think that's initially how it, and then, the guy disappears into his cave, and, yeah.
That's got to be it. Susan Leswing right here says, Bonafide, you're on the right track with the man cave origin. So, oh, here we go. Hearts, your boy right here says, clean house equals happy wife. I would say that's pretty much dead on.
Yeah.
For someone like Raykin that's traveling the country, he probably just leaves his stuff in shambles and then just takes off in the next one.
No comment. No comment.
I bet you when Rakin's done, it probably looks like the Foo Fighters spent the night down there and just destroyed the place. Anyway, oh yeah, and Hart says his man cave is his warehouse. Now, if you watch Hart's Pickers, his channel, you'll see the warehouse, here and there. But he's got a pretty big place where he does a lot of his processing, a lot of his work, and it's like really a lot of stuff's in there. So, okay, lady nest is what you call a man cave for a lady. That's what Thrifty Treasures says. So, okay, so let's go into the show. Let's talk about what is a mantique, or what is like a traditional kind of man. If you think about a man cave item, like let's throw this out to the feed, and then we'll have GFP answer this. What is like a mantique or a man cave type of item? Like, what's a classic example of one?
I would say like when I hear mantique, what always comes to my mind is the couch that's made out of the trunk of like a '57 Chevy. Okay, that's what I think of when you hear a mantique. But you name it, it could be.
Yeah, I think Thrifty Treasures is kind of going where I was thinking about. Anything beer and pool table. Beer, pool table, sports memorabilia is like the first three things.
Yeah.
Arcade games, that's pretty interesting. Pinball machine. Okay, that's a good one too, right? Pinball machine kind of. Oh, neons probably go hand in hand with that couch you're talking about, right? But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, those kind of couches are hard to come by, but really cool. Loud music. Okay. Militaria, TVs, foosball table, okay, guns, okay, there you go. Neon signs, sombrero.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty much dead on. What kind of? Let me ask you this, Rakin and Chad, when you hustle a mantique or a man cave type item, what kind of markets are you looking at? Are you looking at like thin markets, thick markets? Are you looking at like this thing's gonna get bought immediately? Bids are going up, 30 people bidding on it. Like what kind of markets are you expecting out of the man cave type items, like the traditional ones that you come across? Probably not very often, but like the big bad, awesome ones. What kind of markets are we looking at here? Like very strong, or kind of you sit on the item for a little bit longer? What do you think, Chad?
I think it's all across the board. You're going to have your high-end items, and believe it or not, the man cave idea has really like flourished, and there's a lot of people making replicas, the cheap stuff of the stuff that's desired. The cheap neon lights that aren't really neon lights, or the lighting for over your pool table and stuff like that. It depends on what you have. If you have an original older piece, then absolutely it's in high demand and people want it. But there's so many different things that you can consider. It'd be good for a man cave that might sit for a long time. It just depends.
Yeah. Have you ever had the item? What comes to mind if I ask you, what's a fast man cave type item that you just had people rallying up for? I mean, I'm talking bidding it up. Like, what comes on the top of your head right now? You're just trying to think about it, and you're like, okay, now this is easily one of those items.
Like a really good item that you come across quite often, and there's a lot of them, but people think they're just really awesome. Is like the Golden Album Awards, that the RIAA gives out to like bands if they've reached 1 million albums. It's it's in the frame, something like that. I mean, it depends on the band, but like me, if I wouldn't care what band it was, I would look for a cheap one, Salt and Pepper or something, who got it, and it's just not worth a lot, but it looks cool. And a ton of stuff like that out there, and they should sell really quick if you find them. There's just all kinds of stuff. Steve?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't have a ton of stuff, a ton of experience in terms of hustling man cave items. When it comes to anything like that I'd consider man cave or antique, which I don't have a lot of experience with, and this might help the people who are watching, what I would do is I just go up against eBay and I check to see what's going on, the sold listings, if there's any listings that are active, how many bids are there. And I think, honestly, if you do your research, and it's, if it's only $5, $10, $15 and you think the margins are there and you see sold listings, you see a history of sales, I mean, go for it. There's going to be a market on Craigslist. I'd actually be curious, this is going to transition over, for like the bigger, kind of bulkier, maybe electronic kind of man cave items. Are you going Craigslist, or are you actually throwing them on eBay and shipping them out? Because as you know, with these types of items, I would assume these man cave men, they want it to be in the condition that they they're going to be displaying it. They're proud of it. Do you have any issues with returns, or do you go eBay or Craigslist? What are your thoughts on that?
I personally have no problem with shipping something larger on eBay, and I think what's important is, like when you say they're proud of it and stuff, like somebody mentioned in the thing, guitars, even though you don't play. I've got one sitting right back here that is just one of the most awesome guitars I've ever had. It's pear shaped. It looks like a giant mandolin. Never played it, but it looks awesome sitting there, okay? And it's broke. It's broke, so I probably will never have it playing. And that's a good thing to think about on certain items like guitars and stuff. If they look cool, it doesn't matter if they work or not, because whenever you're searching and you see something that's broke, it's like, would this look good as a display? Would somebody buy this for a display, like in a man cave, or to hang it on the wall? I just sold a saxophone that was broke. It had a big thing missing, but it was a gold one, and I got $150 for it, and it would look awesome on display. Not used, or if they want to fix it, they can fix it, but it's still sold for $150. And you just have to really consider that when you're looking at it. It's like, man, that does have a purpose, and it can have a purpose, and if you promote it as that, then you need to get people to think in that mind frame, like, that would look good in my man cave, or my music room, or whatever.
I like how you mentioned that it doesn't have to be in good condition. It doesn't have to be working, because I actually, to be 100% honest with you, and I'm sure we all have this issue where you have something you want to list and you're like, but it's broken, or like, I just don't want to deal with like the issue. I had a guitar that I picked up. I don't know anything about guitars, but I know it's like, looks like an electric, I don't know, it looks all funky. It looks like something like Kiss or someone, I don't know. It's crazy looking, but the strings were all like messed up and stuff, and I don't know anything about guitars, and I'm like, I paid $40 for this, like in good condition it would go for $150. And it's just been sitting in my storage for like a year and a half, and I just never did anything with it. And it's so cool looking. I bet you somebody would just pay $50, take it off my hands, I get my money, and they'd be happy with it. It's crazy. Do you do that all the time, like with man cave items and stuff?
Well, the idea of man cave is really awesome, but it really goes so much further than that, because what you're selling, you may not be thinking is going into a man cave. Just for instance, let me just give you a couple of ideas. A stop sign. If you got a hold of a stop sign and you sell it, there's a good chance it's going in a man cave. One of the old vintage aluminum hard hats. I saw a guy who had his man cave was all about construction. You know that like bright orange, when they like a mesh fence, the plastic mesh fence stuff.
Yeah.
He had that around his wall, and he had shovels and hard hats and everything. It looked really, really good. It's just opened up into a big, huge thing, and so many items out there that we don't even think about are actually good items for the special room.
That's interesting, and everybody's going to have a different taste too, right? Not everybody's going to be into what you're into. I'm sure. Are there any really weird like man cave themes that you can think of? Obviously like music and sports and stuff like that. I mean,
Reagan, we're going there. We are going there. Let me cut you off, man. Okay, we're gonna proceed right into what Reagan was alluding to, like, because this part is gonna be so much information that we're gonna just basically get the top of it for you guys, so that when you're out there, you start realizing, like, okay, I'm seeing some of this stuff. Maybe this is what they're talking about. You whip out your phone. Maybe you go to eBay or your local Craigslist. So places, I find that a lot of man cave things, I don't know, for some reason it seems like if you divided the country in half, USA in half, I would find more man cave items for some reason on the eastern part of the country. This is the way I think it works when I look at the stuff that I've ever hustled in the past. Maybe where it goes, once I sell it and I find it here, for example, it just seems to go in that direction. But anyway, let's talk about some of the best items to start looking for. Let's just talk about the grouping of the items. So with man caves, we have Breweriana, which is basically beer. Auto, gas and oil, tech, and scammy tech. You'll see about that later. Antique, mid-century, tobacco, finance, movies and music, sports, toys, video games, and maybe old photos, which is what someone wanted to talk about. So, yeah, we got a lot of things in Man Cave, and it's you can almost classify a lot of the items that you find out there that are old into something Man Cave related, because I'm guaranteeing you somewhere out there someone's really into like old finance. Someone out there is into old video games. Someone out there is into Selena, right? I mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like someone collects a lot of the Selena stuff or the old video game stuff, and they love to like display it. Maybe they have a bunch of people that come over and like listen to Selena records. I don't know, but this is basically what it comes down to. If you find those things for cheap, you got to find the market, which is typically eBay, could be Etsy, and you got to make an attempt to start getting into this Man Cave stuff. Because I'm telling you right now, if you do Man Cave correctly, then you usually have something that people are that's worth fighting for. Like people want it, right, and they're willing to battle for it. And that's the best thing about having a Man Cave item is like typically if you're hustling the right kind of stuff, the people come to you, which is kind of cool. You know, they're coming to you, they're offering you behind the scenes, they're doing all kinds of stuff because they realize like you have a one of a kind piece, right? Okay, so let's get into maybe the Breweriana, which is like the term used for like old beer and the collectibles with beer and all that kind of stuff. So let's go with neons first, light boxes. Chad, ever hustled neons or light boxes before? Maybe a local sale or something like that?
I have, and I would get neons all the time when I lived up in Indiana at auctions. I was at an auction every night of the week up in Indiana, and neon signs, the beer signs were everywhere all the time. And yeah, it was a huge issue shipping them. You literally have to crate them up to ship them. So I did try to flip a lot of them locally in my my booth, like you have. And but yeah, they come and go as far as popularity. So unless
Yeah,
they're
a
really rare
neon.
ones.
Describe to the people out there that are watching the difference between a neon and a light box.
Well, the neon actually has, I don't even know what it's called. It's hand blown tubes, and there's um, a gas inside it that actually that lights up whenever you turn it on. And a light box is literally a piece of plastic um, uh, with
Like a
a
fixture, like a light fixture behind it, right?
right with a light fixture behind it that illuminates it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the light boxes are one of those things that, you know, it's like a fixture type thing. It kind of almost looks like a cathode ray TV, a little bit like a flat TV. Has the front, the screen where the screen would just be the graphic, right? It could be any graphic. Because sometimes these beer manufacturers just rotate graphics out or this and that. They're interchangeable, right? And the same goes for like light boxes with neons. I mean, there's still neon like video game signs, light box, pinball signs. Light boxes or neons are just one way of advertising back in the day, which would really grab your attention if you walked into a place that was semi-dark, right? It was a way to get the light out there. That's the reason why you saw them in bars, pool halls, because it was not exactly a well-lit place, right? It was a little bit more dim, and so these things would kind of like pop out and make you feel like you're under the neon moon, right? So, yeah, take a look for neons and light boxes, but like Chad said, if you're dealing with a light box, it's a little bit like, okay, I can ship this thing off. If you're dealing with neons, like Chad said, you're going to have to deal with the crating and really, I mean, even if it worked when you were pulling the string at your house, there's no guarantees when it gets to the other person's house that it's going to work, because you got to keep in mind it goes FedEx or it goes USPS or it goes UPS, and who knows what's going to happen in transit. It doesn't matter how well you bubble wrap it or whatever you do, packing peanuts, it doesn't matter because those things are fragile, man. Neon is fragile.
Very.
But there's still a good market for non-working neon as long as they're not busted. So if they're not busted, it's still okay. There's still a little bit of a market, but if they're broken, I mean, it's pretty much game over. So neons, light boxes, props, okay? Props are those things that are just, maybe it looks like a snowboard or a pickaxe or something, with Bud Light or, Michelob or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's something, or it could be even a taxidermy head that's fake, and it it's just showing the beer company's name, but it's not a real actual thing. It's such a prop, okay? Oh, Chad's getting up.
Yeah, I'm gonna get one. Hold on.
Uh-oh, he's looking. There he goes. Getting the hands on today, man.
This is a good example of what I'm talking about. It's an old clock, but it's Bush beer, and it's all about the advertising, and it's got the light behind it, that lights up, and it's, and this is what you would find in like a bar when you hear man cave, bar type stuff like that. But yeah, Bush Bavarian beer. I mean, that's This is old school.
Oh, that's really old, actually.
Yeah.
So it's got that fake wood look to it, almost like it's been carved out of wood, right? But it's not. It's
Right.
plastic.
It's actually styrofoam, you can see where it's kind of chipped a little bit right there. It's like a styrofoam and painted. Yeah, but it makes it look like Black Forest wood or something.
Now, what's the value on something like that in its current condition?
I think that's probably about $120, $130 in its current condition.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and that's a safe thing to shake off because all it has is a fluorescent ring bulb behind it. So that's actually, you can locate that in whatever town it's at. If it breaks, you can locate that part. But if that was a neon sign, I would be like, okay. Well, first of all, it's gonna be bigger than that usually. But I would just, for me, when I actually hustled neon the other day, and that one's gonna be sold locally. But it's just one of those things when I come across them. I mean, I'll try to look Craigslist up. I mean, if you have a Craigslist bot search, like a thing on your phone that, like, I call it, it's a bot, right? You program it, and it finds all this crap for you, and then you just have to look at the ads. But yeah, and my bot has all kinds of stuff, like ManCave. It has neon. It has a lot of secret stuff. Anyway, I'll tell people about it later. But anyway, yeah, if you have a programmed bot that searches your Craigslist, I don't know if you can do it with OfferUp yet, but you can have this thing search behind the scenes for all kinds of stuff. And then maybe you can get first dibs at it. Just a lot of times, if it's ManCave like that, you're going to be paying very close to retail. I've noticed this. It's mostly people that find garage sales or storage things or things like that, and they're putting them on Craigslist because they're doing exactly what we're supposed to do right now. You're supposed to put it locally, try to flip it first because they're technically a little larger than normal, these things. And anytime boxes get bigger, so does your shipping. So, okay. Let me make sure. There's so many. Henry S. says that clock looked 80s. What do you think on that one, man?
No, it's got to be earlier than the 80s. Yeah, I mean, this is it's the old Bush logo and everything. If you can see the. No, this is definitely older than the 80s. I'm not sure of the age. I can't imagine it being 80s, though. It's much earlier than the 80s. I mean, these things went out.
It's got a fair amount of yellowing, too. Let's talk about now pool hall lights, advertising signs. Okay, so advertising signs are one of those things that you should be able to tell the difference between a current day one and a non-current day one. I mean, that's pretty obvious. It's pretty easy to do that. The pool hall lights are much harder to find these days, and those are the ones that sit directly over the pool table itself. It's a linear type of light that typically the bulbs underneath are exposed, so it'll just shine light on the pool table. Kind of looks like a little bit of a pyramid kind of thing. Those are really collectible. However, they're big, so shipping it probably not going to be one of those things that you're going to be doing. But the last one that I had, I put mine in the booth, and it sold very fast. It was a Lone Star one. So they're hard to come by, but if you can find them, I mean, every beer manufacturer that had a big contract with any of these stores makes them. So it could be Busch, Budweiser, Lone Star is huge in Texas. You're not going to be seeing pool hall lights from like Heineken or Shiner, but like you're probably going to find them from the big American companies first, because those are the ones that have the power to get a better deal to whatever account has all the beer,
Right.
So anyway, call them billiard lights. Okay, let's talk about now auto, which is a really big one. So, and when I talk about auto, we're talking about Mopar, Toyota stuff, 4x4, NASCAR, F1, Corvette, Vipers, truck pieces, car pieces. So when you think about auto, Raykin, when you think about auto and ManCave, what comes to mind just off the top of your head?
I think of like Chevy, Ford, big brands like that. But I'm curious to hear what you guys got to say. I'm like, I should be in the audience right now because I'm just taking it all in, baby.
Huge hood ornaments. Somebody just said Holland Hobbies. Hood ornaments are huge. The old school actual NASCAR hoods. People get those and put them in. They make replicas of them and stuff, but to have a real one is huge, and it could be a centerpiece of anybody's collection or the centerpiece of their man cave to have their Dale Earnhardt race used hood hanging on the wall. Um, you know, a lot of people back in the 90s were huge NASCAR fans, and anything NASCAR, uh, I mean, just a quarter panel. I mean, it's really, if you guys aren't familiar, it's just really weird to even think about a quarter panel that's all
Oh yeah.
bashed up is hanging on somebody's wall. Um, License plates, all kinds of stuff with
Yeah.
anything, anything.
People
What's
are
this?
talking like hubcaps, grills, license plates, the hood ornaments, NASCAR signs, the quarter panels, the doors, any part of the car that might have flown off in a wreck,
Yeah.
even broken tires that were like on fire, like crazy
Wow.
Oh, they
things that
have.
the reason like people want the reason why people like man cave items are really the reason why someone would buy one, right, and spend a whole lot of money for it is they want to they show it off with pride, right? Here's the kind of psychology behind it, but they also when their friends come over or different kind of friends or whatever, they want the people to know that this thing was sought out, that this is a special piece. They want to ask the actual where did you get that from? That is so cool. That's what you want to hear. That's like, okay, I bought the right man cave item. That's exactly what you want to hear. When Chad gets mentioned your name in our green room, Chad, there was a member that was proud. One of our members was like, I sold him the Selena jacket. Do you know who we're
Yeah.
talking about?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So like he was proud enough to have found the jacket, but then he shipped it to you, so he's proud about that. Now you're proud that you even got a Selena jacket. That's something you never had, right?
Oh, it's special. It's special. Which I don't even have it up right now, but I have it right there. It's a very, very special piece. Very rare.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking
Yeah.
about. See, if someone hustles an auto thing, they want people to go, oh wow, did that come off a 60s Oldsmobile? Oh my gosh, did that come off? What NASCAR race did that come off of? They're asking these specific questions, and hopefully you should know the history behind these pieces that you're acquiring. But that's kind of what if you were to ask me about my man cave stuff, the stuff that I have, I could tell you the stories behind every one of the bicycles that I own, and some of the neat relics that I have laying around the house. I can tell you exactly where I got them, what it is, what it's in the time frame, like the century it was actually created. Pretty cool.
Yeah, and and there's no limit. It depends on um, how big of a man cave you want. I mean, I bought a real NASCAR. I owned a Tony Stewart NASCAR.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about that real quick. I'm interested in hearing that story.
No, the Peanuts, the Halloween car, where it had Snoopy and all them, and and with the ghost things on them. Me and two other guys purchased that. It didn't go into my man cave, but yeah, we bought it and turned it into a racing simulator, and it ran up and down the East Coast. So I think now it is actually retired and in somebody's garage, which is considered a man cave, and it's actually, but yeah, the sky's the limit. I mean, if you got millions and millions of dollars, you can have the best of everything. There's just no, but yeah,
So that's what you're working for, man. That's why you grinding it out all day long.
no, I don't have millions and millions of dollars. I'm just saying yeah, it was a Tony Stewart car.
That's
The
amazing.
Yeah, it's the car he won Atlanta with.
Wow.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's the
So I'm actually
sky's the limit.
a lot of people in the comments are talking about this car. That's crazy. They're like,
Yeah,
this is amazing that you actually own. How much is that thing? How much was that thing to acquire it?
50 grand. It didn't have an engine, didn't have a transmission. Yeah, so it, yeah. But
So
I mean, we put a lot of electronics in it and everything else. I mean, it was a substantial investment to get this thing running with this actual simulator with the 3D uh, projector, and because when you're in it and you have the fans blowing on you like the wind's blowing, and it's got force feedback, and I mean, it was a one of a kind. Uh, Daryl Waltrip, Dale Jr., Dale Earnhardt Jr., they all rode in it. They thought it was awesome, and yeah,
Well, that's
it was
neat.
cool.
There's some comments coming through that are saying like Jay Leno has an amazing man cave, right? Okay, so if we take this part of the spectrum, Jay Leno's over here. Okay, Chad and maybe me are over here. Rakin's traveling, so he'd be over here. But like Rakin, when you're in Connecticut, someone was asking a question. What does your man cave look like? When you had a man cave, Rakin, I don't care
I
what kind of
never
man cave
really
this was. What were you into?
I never really had
It
much
could
of
be
a.
anything, man. It could be, dude, listen, it could be M&M posters. It could be anything. I don't care what it is. Like, what was in your man cave? Like your happy place in the house.
I mean, when I grew up, like I always wanted to be a professional baseball player, so I had like some posters and stuff and different things like that, but nothing big. Bicycles. I mean, I'm like the least man cave guy that you'll probably ever meet. But I think I got to step that part of my game up after watching this show. My
You
man
did
cave
have.
right now is in my car. That's my man
It's
cave.
like open your trunk. This is
Yeah,
my man cave. Check it out.
yeah. So that's all that matters right now.
Ricken has a Nook. That's all he has. He has a Nook in his car, and that's his man Nook. Um, okay, so yeah, so let's go over the auto thing. It was like anything Mopar, Toyota. Toyota has a big following too. Old Toyota stuff, whether it's like Supra, MR2, Forerunners, FJ Cruiser stuff. I'm talking those people love collecting crazy old Toyota stuff. 4x4 stuff. We're talking K5 Blazer stuff, all that kind of Casey headlight kind of things. Old crazy things like that will find its way into a man cave. Even the grill of certain 4x4 trucks back in the day, that would be a great thing for a wall. NASCAR we covered. F1, which is Formula One racing. That's a pretty big thing
Oh, yeah.
across America if you can find it. It's very hard though. It's very hard.
And if you're
Um,
rich,
yeah, you got to be pretty rich. I mean, I'm talking down to the jackets, the
yep.
fire suits, the Simpson not even Simpson helmets. These are like way crazier than that. Even the steering wheel of one of the cars with all the little things
Oh,
on it,
yeah.
like that would be sick on a room. But yeah, you got to think about those kind of things. You got to be thinking outside the box when you're at a garage sale, yard sale, whatever, and you come across this stuff and someone goes, it's $50 for that F1 steering wheel. You can't be going, well, I want to buy it for $2. That F1 steering wheel at $50 might be worth like $1,000 on eBay. So you have to start thinking these kind of things. Reagan, you're kind of laughing. What's up?
Because the comments coming through are just cracking me up. I don't want to interrupt, but they're saying my man cave includes Whole Foods, trampolines, hot women's picks.
Dude,
Oh,
at least they're not making fun of you talking about like I'm a man and I have Selena in my man cave. It's like it's what makes you feel good, you know?
someone just asked me if I have a microwave in my man cave.
No, it's not even a man nook. You have a This is what you have, man. You have a bro nook. That's what it's called, a bro nook. It's like not even a man cave because there's like
That's the slang
nothing
for
really
it.
that cool in there. It's just a bro nook. Like, hey, bro, check out what I got in my nook. Like, this is your bro nook. Anyway, um, that's what it is.
Steve has
So,
juice labels all over the walls.
hey, you know what's a really cool thing when we're talking about auto? By the way, man cave stuff. And here's the thing: if you're finding this type stuff, likely it's coming from someone that kind of knows what it's worth. But Corvette-related stuff. Chad, you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about when I say Corvette or maybe Chevelle or you know what I'm talking about, but mainly Corvette and Camaro. Like Corvette is, I mean, when was the first Corvette even built? Was it the 50s? I can't remember. Do you know, Chad?
I don't know the actual date, but I do believe it's the 50s, and was an awesome looking car.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's the one with the two, like if you sat in it, it has two little hoops.
Right, right.
I think.
Or the
I could be
hump.
wrong.
One side's
Someone,
got a
okay,
big hump.
we have 163 people watching this show right now. Do us a favor. First of all, do us three favors. The first favor is let us know when the first Corvette was created. I want to know that. Second favor is hit the like button if you're just learning even a little bit, or if you're passing time and you like this topic, that's cool. We got some comments coming through. 1953, mass pickers. And then the last thing is put a comment down, right? If you want us to talk about something else that's man cave related, let's see that.
Dude,
1953.
I guarantee anything 1953 Corvette is going to be worth a fortune. I don't care if it's the tire air pressure nozzle cap.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It's going to be stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. That's down to everything. Any part of that car, if you were to find it anywhere in the garage sale. Do I find Corvette hubcaps every now and then, like Stingray ones and this and that? Those things go so fast in my booth, it's not
Yep.
even funny. They're gone in like less than a week. I'm trying to think what other Corvette wall clocks, posters, even pieces of the current day cars, like that can sell. I sold at my Corvette's shifter in my booth of all things. It was like a 98 Corvette. And that shifter sold from that car. That was kind of weird. It was like the top thing with the gated gear thing. 1953. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So 1953 is the first Corvette. So yeah, I mean, there's
I'm,
plenty of
I'm,
years.
I'm looking up some of the hubcaps that sold on eBay for 1953, and they're at like 600 to 1,000, 1,500. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're going to a yard sale or a garage sale, especially hubcaps, the only problem about hubcaps if they're stamped and there's 4 of them, then if you're at a smart person's garage sale, they're going to be like, oh, look, I want 20 to 50 bucks for it. They're going to kind of get you up, ramp you up a little bit. And you shouldn't be afraid to pay those kind of things, because if they look in good condition and all messed up and ding cracked, that's perfect for eBay. People are looking for 4, right? But they are looking for 1, 2, yes. But a lot of people want a complete set, you know what I'm saying? So they can, put it on the car that has none, right? Okay, so let's look at Corvette apparel, like jackets, that's right, all that kind of stuff. So Corvette's one of the big things. Harley-Davidson, one of the big things too. I forgot to mention that. Dodge Viper, kind of a crazy following. I think that was 93 was the first one of that one. Anything truck pieces, C10, S10, K5 Blazer, those kind of things, and then car pieces in general, down to I've hustled pieces of Ferrari, Fiat pieces, Momo steering wheels, Momo this and that. Like Momo was a crazy thing back in the 90s. Like there was this. I think they still make them now, but Momo wheels or Momo arrows and like all this weird Momo stuff it's still very collectible now. So yeah, let's make sure. And Hemi stuff. So Parker Prophet says Hemi, which even around this day, everyone is still sitting on the side of the cars and everything.
MGA Roadsters, thank you. I owned a 1960, and I restored a 1960 MGA Roadster, and those are just slick looking cars.
Is that the ones with like the wood steering wheel? I mean, the wood shifter and stuff like that?
They're stainless steel. Yeah, the actual car is stainless steel itself.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it was a 1960 MGA 1600 Roadster. And yeah, just beautiful, beautiful cars.
Oh man, I was just about to say a TR7. So check this out, right?
Yeah.
TR7. There's this car called a TR7. There was a dude on Craigslist. Not Craigslist. The classifieds of this paper that circulates around Austin, Texas. It's called the Austin Chronicle. It has a classified section that's not very big. Back in the day before Craigslist, though, it was the best thing that you could sell big things on. In the free section of that thing, and I missed it by 1 hour, was a free TR7 working. There was a free one, and I called the person, and the person's like, "Yeah, someone picked it up an hour ago. I'm sorry." And I was like, oh my god, a free working TR7, no title though. But I was like, dude, I couldn't believe it. So I could have had one. But anyway, AMC Gremlin, AMC Pacer. So yeah, there's so many good things with when you talk about. There's so many people like rattling off cars. There's so many. The best thing to do is if you want to learn about like that kind of stuff, just go to your local classic car show. Okay, that's the best thing to do. Find a local classic car show around you and start going there and figuring out what people are raving about, right? Learn what a Grand National is. Learn what a Chevelle is, what a Camaro is. Learn these things. Learn what a Hemi or a Cuda. Learn all that stuff, and go around to those car shows. If you're at the right kind of car show, they'll have little booklets outside of the car, and it'll show you how they restored the car, down from like the bare, frame all the way to where it is, where you're looking at it present day. That's an important thing to see because you'll understand where they got all these parts from, right? Because to restore something, they have to get these parts from the market like eBay or these classified places. They have to find these parts somewhere, sometimes junkyards. And that's where you fit in. So anyway, and also if they're really prideful about their car, they might have a blanket that says Corvette in their Corvette. Like they might have something that's a little extra that just completes it for the car show. And that can be where you play a role as well. So anyway, let's now talk about this is a huge. We're never going to get around. Okay, we're never going to get around all of this. There's too much to talk about. I just realized I have a bad way of doing this. On my outline, I put down so much crap, and then we can never get to all of it. So
at least you do an outline, man. I wing it.
I'll show you this outline. You probably won't because my internet is so amazing today. Clearly, this is what it looks like right there. So it's a pretty big outline, and we're only like in the first. We're in like the 6th sentence of it. So
yeah.
Let's get into. What do you want to do, Chad? You want to go into tobacco, gas and oil, or mid-century? What do you think, man?
Tobacco sounds fine.
Yeah, tobacco's pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So tobacco. There's a name for it. It's not Tobacciana. Maybe it is actually.
Tobacciana. Yeah.
Okay, it is Tobacciana. Okay. So tobacco stuff is all the stuff that has to deal with, the big cigarette giants back in the day. We're talking about way back when Marlboro was even a woman's cigarette when it first came out, right? Believe it or not, it actually was. So Philip Morris, we're looking at that. We're looking at R.J. Reynolds back in the day, Camel ads, Joe Camel. Remember that back in the day when you'd see that on billboards, Chad? Joe Camel in like a pool stick, like looking all slick in a blazer, like at a pool hall. You remember what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
And that's right. People were saying Cohiba, so down to cigars and all that kind of stuff. Red Man, Wood Indian. So when you see old tobacco kind of stuff, definitely figure out first of all if it's a repro, because they are making some repro of some of this stuff. But it's pretty easy to figure out a repro. You gotta look really close to it, okay? Look really close, and if you can see if it's a printer that put the graphics where it needs to be, if you can see the dots of the printer actually making its like way through, it's pretty easy to tell whether this is a repro or not. A really good piece, usually to this day, it should be kind of banged up, should be kind of, has some rash on it. A good clear piece that like says something, or Marlboro or something like that, it might be of present day, or it might be just a complete repro, right? So you got to be real careful with that. Not to say that there's no money in that, but if you're going to deal with present-day Tobacciana, you're going to want to deal with the present-day things that are made by Philip Morris or R.J. Reynolds or Lorillard or any of those companies. You want to deal with the actual things that found its way into stores, not replicas of that stuff. So there's still money in the current, not current. When I say current, I'm like talking about like the past 10 years. There's still money in it, right? But I don't think there's really money in the graphics per se. It's more of the other stuff behind the counters, that clocks, things like that, weird things, right? Weird things like that, clocks, digital clocks, weird things because here's the thing, there was litigation passed in early 2000, I want to say. Maybe mid 2000. No, early 2000. There was litigation passed to where they could only advertise a certain way, and since then, that really hampered a lot of the tobacco goods that could be produced, right, for the stores to like communicate, like, here we had a sale on Marlboro today, right, or whatever. So the way around it is they kind of, well, the litigation said they have to bring out all the Marlboro signs, all the neon signs, all the light signs, all that stuff had to be taken down from every store across America by a certain day. That stuff is worth really good money. I actually covered this on a private show in the green room last week. But neon signs, if you're to find a neon Joe Camel or a neon Natural American Spirit or a neon Marlboro one, man, you're talking big money there. That neon's probably worth 150, north of 150 pretty quickly, right? A working neon, doesn't matter what size. If we're talking probably 120 north of that really quickly. The light boxes as well. Total, I mean, they're worth a little bit less than the neons, but kind of close right by it, And then you could deal with the stuff that people would get if they signed up on the list. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
So if you sign up on the list, then you can sometimes go to the Marble Ranch, the F1 Racing School, whatever, beach pleasure vacation that Lorillard had. But you would get these crazy things like towels, like backpacks, right?
Marlboro Miles.
Yeah, Marlboro Miles, back in the Miles program. You would get Zippo lighters. Dude, look up the Marlboro Zippo lighter on eBay right now. There's a certain one. It's like a silver one with a star and a little horn, like a little.
I'm looking up right now.
Like a little skeleton of a cow on the front. Anyway, look up that thing, right? That's something that you can easily look for in a garage sale or a yard sale or something. This is the Marlboro lighter. But that right there, after that litigation was passed, there was like only a certain amount of ways they can get the cool items to the consumers, right? So they wanted to go for the diehard consumers and go, okay, we got this reward program, these miles kind of stuff, and every company had it, whether it was Camel or whatever. They all had these really amazing things, even current day, that you can still get. It could be like openers, coolers, it can be anything. But back in the day, it was really neat stuff, right, Chad? You know what I'm talking about? It was.
Dude, I was selling Marlboro Miles on eBay back in the 90s, man.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, these lighters are going for so much money.
Yeah.
These lighters are going for, like, I'm looking at like a 1970s sterling. Maybe it's made out of sterling silver. Marlboro Remington sculpture, $645. There's one $700. Another one for $800.
Okay, but look at the one that's around 100. There's one around 50 to 150. It's like a silver one with like a skull on the front. That one right there is a little bit more common, a little bit easier to find. Probably not find it at a state sale or a yard sale. But if you find it for like $10, I mean, throw it right to eBay if it works. I mean, it takes two things.
There's a lot of them though. There's like a lot of different looking ones with the Marlboro that are just going for a lot of money. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm sure I may have passed something up like this. This is cool.
Yeah, coffee shop use, like coffee. There was coffee in a cup in '95, something like that. There's even coffee cups, like so. Marlboro, before when it converted into a male cigarette, which I want to say was the 60s, maybe it was the early 70s. It was like, okay, we're gonna they did I used to work for the company, okay, so like they had to rebrand the thing, and so they were like, all right, we're gonna turn this thing into a total manly cigarette. We're gonna boost the sales into this direction, whatever. And so it worked, right? And they were like, how can we get it to a manly cigarette? Okay, we're gonna just put a cowboy on it, right? A cowboy that's like with a sunset, his horse tied to something, and like he's stirring beans in a pot. So a lot of times when you looked at the neons or whatever, it was like a cowboy with a horse, a sunset, and there was like a dude stirring beans in a pot, right? Or a cowboy smoking the cigarette on the horse, or like wrangling around. He was like a wrangler kind of dude, and he was in the ranch, like taking care of all the cattle and everything. Like it was a manly. It was like, this is a man's cigarette, right? So I guess the gist of what I'm saying is, look out for all that stuff that's man related. Like with the cigarettes and all that kind of stuff came lighters, and came ashtrays, and came all this really neat stuff that you can still find out there in these yard sales and garage sales, right? And some people still don't know what this is worth. So down to the Joe Camel like cool ashtray that could hold like 8 cigarettes, like for all your friends. There were some really neat things out there that you can still kind of sweep under from people that don't know what it's worth. So um,
And
I
there's
really,
also some really cool items out there that just aren't expensive. I mean, but they look really cool. Um, so it's not always a real expensive type thing that would look great on your wall. It's, you know, and there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with repops. If you're wanting to decorate your house on a budget, you know,
yeah.
people buy repops.
Yeah, just remember, if you are going to go into that Tobacciana kind of thing, you can start with like super old school Tobacciana. I'm talking like way back in the day, like when there was like not even concrete on the streets, like horse and buggy kind of stuff. There was those, and those are usually rolled by hand. They come in these little tins, like tobacco tins are super small. They're like tiny. You know what I'm talking about? These little
Tobacco
snuff cans.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah, they're these little snuff cans, man. And you can do roll your own or whatever. And then it kind of progressed into this like, okay, you can get them at stores now. But just remember that there was that litigation passed in like, I want to say it was the early 2000s, where that's really the defining point of where the things took off in value, right? The neon signs, the light signs, and anything that was like behind the counters in a convenience store had to be taken down. That's what's worth a really good amount of money too, those things. So think about that. It's called Enzo Picker said when you roll it, it's called a joint. That's pretty funny. Okay. Yeah, and by everyone's like, best thing I did was to quit smoking. That's cool. Um, you know, I don't have anything against people that smoke. I gotta tell you, because after working for that company, honestly, on the panel interview for that company that I worked for, there were 3 people, 3 bigwigs ahead of me, and they all like lit up like right in front of me to see what my reaction would be on the final interview. And it was in a hotel here in Austin, Texas, that I know there was no smoking allowed. No smoking allowed in this hotel. I know for sure. But they still lit up in front of me just to see if I could take it. Me
They're
being like
testing
a
you.
bar hopper dude back in the day, all GQ, like I was totally fine with it. But I remember like one of them telling me like, yeah, we just wanted to see like how you would act, and it was kind of interesting. But so a very interesting tidbit about Bonafide Hustler. Okay, so that pretty much is, we have a lot more to cover, and if Chad has another, maybe like in a month, I can save this outline and we can get Chad on again or something like that. But I want to give Chad a second to let people out there know how can clearly Chad has, he loves doing what he does. He loves finding these one-off kind of things, and he is a kind of a man cave artist. That's why when I thought about it on top of my head, I was like, who could I get on this show that really knows a lot about like single items that are worth something? What are you laughing at, Chad?
I mean, the traditional man cave, and you call me a man cave artist, and I got this kitty stuff behind me.
But every time we have a show, man, every time you have a live show or something, you always find
Yeah,
you're all about the hunt, right? You're about the
right,
hunt, and I love that. That's good, right? But it also means like you've experienced a lot, right? So you know what to look for, right? A lot of these
right.
newbies that are maybe in the crowd that want to learn about man cave stuff, they're like, oh, I didn't know about that, and that's how they can learn off someone like you, or even someone like me. So I just wanted to say, hey, thank you for being on the show, and if we can get a part 2, I would love for you to be part of that. There's still a lot more to cover, but how can people, like, if they have an item or if they want to see your show and they want to get more into this like single item, like fun hunt kind of stuff, how can people find you, Chad?
You can always find me on YouTube. I am the Golden Finger Picker. And believe it or not, you can hit me up personally on Facebook. My name is Chad Pagel. Send me a message, send me a friend request. I'm always available. I'm always looking to learn new things. So if you come across something you're not sure about, you can't find anything about it, hit me up. I love talking with people about their finds, and maybe we can make a deal. I love the networking part of this and the next item for my collection. But real quick before I stop, as far as man cave stuff, it's just really important. It's if it's appealing to the eyes, okay? And when you always hear us talking about, it's not worth a lot of money, but it just has awesome graphics, awesome graphics. I mean, that is just an awesome graphic. Or, a movie poster that's got Japanese writing on it. It's not that it may not be worth a ton of money, and when you're out there looking at it, you have to look at it as, would somebody like this on their wall? It's just weird. It's different than everything else I normally see. And if you have that eye, you understand what I'm saying. It's that you want to pull that, what makes it different out, and that's what's going to sell the item.
Yep. I saw a funny comment here too that just rolled in. This has nothing to do with what you just said, but this one says, I just noticed there's a Voltron behind you.
Oh man, it's Voltron. You know how many people's offered that want to buy that? It's
is that one complete? It doesn't have a sword or no? Doesn't Voltron come with a sword?
No, it does not have a sword. But and I haven't even looked for a sword. I'm just the type of guy. I've got it. I've got 4 extra lions out in the garage for parts, and I'm going to end up coming across a sword. I don't go like looking for one. I'm just that type of guy that I'll eventually find one, and I'll see it, and then if it's the day I'm searching eBay for it, I don't actively pursue it. I just build things as it comes,
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. I really like it. I've always noticed it in the background of your videos. When I look at Ronnie's videos, your friend, Hearts Picker, he's got the Tamiya Bruiser behind in the corner. Now, for me, being an RC fanatic, I know exactly what that car is. When I saw it, I was like, oh my god. But anyway, he has that in the corner, top left corner of his videos. So shout out to Hearts for having one of the most rare Tamiya cars ever.
I sent him a Tamiya body. I found one. And that's what's so important about networking, guys, because I had no clue about this stuff, and I had found that, and it was the actual body, and he's like, oh, hey, and I think it was like $35 because I got it thrown in with a bunch of stuff, and it's probably worth a lot more than that. But see, it's about that networking, and he got an awesome body, and man, I love that aspect of what we do.
We're gonna cut part of the show out and use it against you. He has an awesome body. We're gonna cut this part out. We're gonna make a little rap video, and it's gonna be you jibber jabbing about Ronnie's body.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a clodbuster. No, I thought it was a bruiser. Hearts, anyway. He says clodbuster. It looks like a bruiser. Anyway.
No, what I sold him was a clodbuster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's typically a Chevy truck, I want to say. I know exactly what that looks like. Cool. Very nice. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for joining the Green Room Hangout number 28. If you want to learn more about the Green Room, you can look down below. There's a link down there. There's a couple man cave things, not a couple. There's way more than a couple man cave things to find in our free guide, which is down below. So check that out too. I didn't want to put this little part in the middle of our program, so I'll put it at the very end, which is cool. So check that out. It's down below. It's a PDF. Put it on your phone. Go to garage sales, yard sales. Look for man cave items and look for stuff that's in that guide. Rakin, do you want to close it out for us?
Yeah, we appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us for an hour, especially you, Chad. We appreciate you and the people watching. That's what it's all about. It's all about the people, networking, learning together, and growing, and just building up our businesses and being a big team and community. So we appreciate you all. Make sure, hit the like button. Really helps us to not only give us that confidence to keep bringing on more awesome guests like Chad and putting on more videos, but it helps to get the videos out. So show some love. Hit the like button. Get the free guide. Go check out Chad, Reseller Society, or you can find him personally, Chad Pagel, on Facebook. Great guy, great community, and I'd recommend joining their Facebook group. So with that being said, we appreciate you guys, and until next time.
Take it easy, guys. We're out of here.
Bye.
Peace.